Okay, what's up, guys? This is another episode of How to Make Money Recycling Car Parts. And who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name is Chase Erickson. I've been working in my family's junkyard since I was 11 years old. This is me repairing the rebar of an aluminum smelting furnace. This is our shitty little junkyard that started our business. It was four bays. We did about 75 cars a day out of there. I did every single job from dismantling the vehicles, buying the cars from the public, picking plastic off the conveyor belts, you name it, I did it. And now we run this facility, which is 66 acres. It has 52 garage bay doors, and it also has full cycle aluminum smelting furnace. It has a pre-shredder. It has a hammer mill. It's got tire shredder equipment, and this video plays. You can see here, it's all filled up with cars. Does about 300 cars a day if it's running at full capacity. So I've also worked at the number one and number two auto manufacturer in the United States, both Ford and General Motors. You can look me up on LinkedIn if you want. And I'm currently back at school getting my master's in mechanical engineering at the University of Texas at Austin, which is a top 10 mechanical engineering school. Now, I actually like the junkyard more than school. And while I'm here, I literally still run my reselling parts business out of storage lockers. That's how much it's worth it to me. Um, so I literally have four 10 by 10 storage lockers, and you could do it in one 10 by 10 storage locker if you want. And this is me just after I moved. I paid about 170 bucks for four storage lockers. And while I was at school, I did $6,000 in about 4 weeks. And that's not bad for working one day a weekend part time, as I'm a full time student. So, how do you know what parts to sell, right? That's the question that everybody asks. Well, I run a free community. If you want to join it, totally free. See here, free. And then I'm also going to tell you guys exactly what parts to get. So, when you join the community, you're going to come in here. You're going to go to the introduce yourself. You're going to introduce yourself. Then you're going to go to the classroom section. You're going to click this. All right. This is a PDF of 100 parts that I've found to be extremely profitable and are backed by data that they will resell very quickly. Now, this is more than enough data and parts to get you started. You can easily make $6,000 a month, like I was, off of just these parts and getting them when the vehicles arrive at the yard. So, but what I'm going to be doing for today's video is this guy, Nathan Waddle. So he just introduced himself. Hi, my name is Nathan. I've been doing vehicle part outs through Facebook Marketplace, but want to get more into selling on eBay to increase profits. Okay, so this is his zip code, 75143, and we're actually going to conduct a research for him on his behalf and do it for him so he can know exactly what parts to get. So Kemp, Texas. So we're going to go to Google Maps, or we're going to look up. Okay, we're gonna look up. You pull it near, and then we're gonna put in that zip code. So 7513 must be near Dallas. Let's just confirm this. So Kaufman County. Okay, just south of Fort Worth. So this is actually super close. So we're gonna be doing some yard research for him. So we're gonna look at a U pullet in his area. Now you could go to the Bring Your Own Tool down in Waco. Locos Gringos Pick and Pull. This guy seems to be pretty close to him. This is in Tyler, Texas. Let's check out their website. We're gonna look at their inventory. It's an interesting website. We gotta wait for his inventory to load. Okay, it looks like it's loading here. I don't know, I've never seen such a strange website. Okay, so this one's actually gonna be a little bit more difficult than normal large. Jesus, this website is really bad. But we will still get it done. So I'm gonna show exactly how you guys are gonna want to do this. So first, we need to put this into a list of, I wonder if I can filter this. Nope, we can't. So we're going to put this into a list of year, make, and model. And to do this, we're going to go to ChatGPT. All right, so I just have a free ChatGPT account. We go here. Okay. I'm going to paste screenshots of a local U-bullet. Please assemble into year, into table, year, make, model. All right, then we're going to go back to the website. And unfortunately, this would be much quicker if we could just copy and paste it directly from the website, which I have done on my other videos, but we will have to do it this way. So we're just going to paste all of these images in here, and we can do this 10 at a time. So I'll fast forward. All right, so I just finished uploading a decent amount of pictures. I think I did all the vehicles at this yard that arrived in the last week. So today is September 2nd, and I did back to August 24th-ish. And you can see it was about 54 vehicles. Usually it's actually more than that. Usually like a LKQ will have about 20 vehicles per day. So you could expect closer to like 140 vehicles, but we're only doing about 50 part. We're looking to get him about 50 good parts that he could resell, like 35 to 50. Um, then if they actually resells it, then we'll do it again for him. So now, if you guys are watching this and you want to know how you would then conduct your research, you would then, you can either join my school community or you can go to the bio of this video and there will be this file attached, which is a list of about 700 parts. All right, so if you were to conduct your research manually, then if you were to conduct your research manually, then you would download this list and then you would basically look at your list of year, make, and models and you would search for this part on eBay. So basically, we'll look at a more common part. A lot of these are kind of niche just because we want to make sure we're covering as many good resellable parts as possible. But we'll look at like AC heater control. That's a common part. So we're going to go to eBay and then we're going to look at our table of vehicles. And so what arrived recently? Okay, 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix. So we're going to look up 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix AC heater control. All right. Then you're going to filter by the condition used because we want to get rid of all the Chinese OEM remanufactured parts and stuff like that. And then we are going to count this. 42 are currently active. Okay. How many are sold? 24 are sold. Okay, so that's about a 55%-ish sell-through rate. And you can see that these are selling actually for pretty decent money. You can see especially these ones with the switches are selling for about 75 bucks on average. You can see there are actually some differences in the sale value here. So you can see, I think these are different styles. I think one likely has defrost that the others don't, which is why that one is much more expensive. You can see these standard ones are selling for 90 bucks, free shipping. So that would actually not be a terrible part, but 50% sell through probably means it's not going to sell for about 45 days or 60 days, depending on how you have it priced. And so I would keep an eye on this one, but that probably wouldn't actually be a part that I'd be interested in selling, especially if I was just starting out, because it's not going to move off your shelf very quickly. And then you're just going to be stuck holding a bunch of inventory. And especially if you're buying these parts from a junkyard, it's going to start costing a lot to build up your inventory. Even if you don't lose money, it's just going to cost more in capital expenditure. So basically, you would work your way down this list for that vehicle, and then you'd have your database assembled, and you wouldn't have to do it again for that vehicle. But unfortunately, there's like 15,000 vehicles, unique vehicles made in the last 20 years, so I like to do it a little bit faster. So I asked ChatGPT to upload it as a CSV, and then I downloaded it, and now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to upload the CSV, and I personally like a sell through of above 75%. So then I'm going to have my calculator, which basically this is just hooked up to my internal database that I built doing exactly what I just showed you earlier. And it's going to kick out all of the parts. So it found a total of 140 parts, and then I could download this to the CSV, or I'm going to copy this to my clipboard. Then I'm going to go to this spreadsheet, and I'm going to paste my results, and I'm going to name this after the guy we are doing the research for. Oh, unfortunately, my toolbar popped up. All right. And now we're going to go through here, and since we are only getting him about 35 to 50 parts, we can kind of come in here and clean up some of these harder to get parts that just don't make sense if you're just starting out or honestly are just trying to get the most bang for your buck and not looking to go crazy. So windshield molding, that's going to take a long time to remove. Trunk moving, fenders, we'll avoid that. Spare tire kits can be valuable. Trunk motor, we'll avoid that. Fuse box, I personally don't have great experience with fuse box. They kind of have to be really valuable in niche cases in order to make them work well. Front bumper cover, no. So remember, this guy said he resells parts at Facebook Marketplace. So some of these parts could actually be worth getting just because you don't have to factor in shipping. But if you're selling on eBay, front bumper covers almost never going to be worth it for junkyard level vehicles. So we're just gonna come through here, door molding, power inverter, we're gonna stay away from vacuum pump, we're gonna stay away from, we don't know what the state of the seals are in, and we're probably not gonna have access to test it. And we're just gonna keep coming in here and cleaning up. So I'll pause this and fast forward once I've cleaned up the list. Okay, so I came in and cleaned up a lot of the parts here. Now you can see there was 144 parts when we started that had good sell through and good sell value, and I ended up getting it down to 62 parts. Okay, so I deleted a lot of parts that one probably were just going to take forever to pull, and two parts that were mechanical because we don't really know the shape of some of the like seals and stuff of the pumps, and unless the vehicle is running in the yard, unless you turn it on, it's kind of a gray area of whether or not the part is actually going to work. And I actually pull these parts all the time. Like I left a couple of them on here, Toyota Prius ABS pump. That's an amazing part. That's going to sell for a couple $100 all the time. It's only going to show yourself for maybe 4 days. But it's just a little bit more complicated to pull, and if you're starting off, you could end up wasting hours pulling a part like that. Now, eventually, at some point, it is going to be worth your time to understand how to pull these more complicated parts. And now, for this guy, I'm basically just going to come in here and make sure that all this data is accurate and do exactly what I did at the beginning of the video, showing you guys how to do the manual research yourself. So we're just going to keep looking up these parts on eBay, doing the exact same used, sold, and then the other thing we're going to be doing is looking at the pictures of the part because sometimes there are multiple variations of the part, especially on things like radios, um, where there's actually a part that sells significantly better than some of the other parts. This is also common on things like heater controls, where variations with defrost might be worth significantly more than other variations. And so it's important to come and do a little bit of manual refining and get the pictures. And this will also make your process inside of the yard much easier as you'll know what type of part you're looking for. And will just save you time while you're out in the sun and keep you moving so you can make as much money as possible. So this is kind of an example. Now I've sold this part, so I know it's actually worth getting for most of the time. But you can see it has 77 sold listings, but some of these are not actually the parts. Some of these are memorabilia. And so you can see about 25% of the time, the part we're searching for is not actually the part that is being displayed. And so you can figure that 77%, you're going to want to lower that by about 25%. So figure there's about 55, 60 actual listings that are actually what we're looking for. And then if you unfilter, it's almost always going to be the part you're looking for. So went from 60 over 117, so that's actually pretty low sell through, and that's probably not worth selling for him. So we're going to delete that. All right, so I'm going to just fast forward through the rest of this, and I will